slides here. Oops, I'm having a little bit of issues here, Stephanie. I apologize on this. If I can get to the next slide, I will be happy to do that. So Stephanie, I apologize. I can't seem to advance my slides. Can you advance them for me?
Okay, if you want to continue talking, I will pull them up and share them from my screen.
Yeah, absolutely. So I appreciate that. So the next slide I had was just a little bit about who we are at CBIZ. So we are one of the nation's leading providers of professional advisory services for clients, and
Hi guys, we have a little bit of technical difficulty getting time on the screen, but just hold on just one moment for us. I'm sure you will rejoin. Thank you.
All right, so it looks like you may be able to see my screen again.
Yes.
All right, so hopefully you can see everything here. Let me do this. All right, so hopefully you can see that. I'm going to go ahead and minimize my camera here so you can see me. Can you see that, folks?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So I'm on to the next slide here, which is setting clear expectations. Can everybody see that next slide here? So one of the things you can do, again, to be able to manage and engage your employees is making sure that you set clear expectations with them. So as they're working from home, make them aware of what you expect for them to be doing on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, and they'll be much more motivated and feel much more accountable to want to be able to meet those expectations, right? If you want employees to be online for specific hours of the day, you need to communicate that. Be very clear with those communications. If you want a daily report of what they're working on, be sure to ask for that. Don't make any assumptions with any of your employees. It's always better to over communicate and make sure that you are setting those clear expectations so they have a good understanding of what they need to be doing on a daily basis, weekly basis, and monthly basis. And again, if you need certain reports or any additional information from them at the end of the day, make sure that you communicate that to them. One of the other areas is being able to recognize good work. Getting a pat on the back or telling somebody that, hey, fantastic job, or I really appreciate that report you put together goes a long, long way. And again, it helps to make the employees feel that they're a part of something, especially working in this virtual environment, right? You can feel very isolated with this. But recognizing and rewarding employees for their hard work is a key factor in boosting the engagement with them. So I can take on many forms, but the main goal is to really incentivize and continue that productivity and dedication that you have been getting from them. For example, you could send out a company-wide email detailing an employee's exceptional achievement, or if you have some of your folks that are on the sales side, doing a shout out on some of the opportunities that they brought in. Or it could be just as simple as a personal thank you note that you send out to somebody. But that does really matter, and that goes a long way when engaging and managing the remote workforce. Also, make sure that you're encouraging a work-life balance. I know one of the things that I noticed when I first started working in a remote environment is my work hours actually increased because it was right here in my home. So it was very easy for me to go, oh, you know what, just let me knock this out before you knew it was 8 or 9 o'clock at night. Or I was going into my office on the weekends and knocking work out. So make sure that you really encourage that work-life balance with your employees. It's really important so that they don't kind of get out of that imbalance. And then, all of a sudden they start to feel some sort of burnout. Make suggestions as how they can maintain their physical and mental well-being. For example, set a lunch break or taking walk breaks every few hours. Encourage them, to get up, move around, take some time for themselves. Because what you want is somebody 100% focused and healthy, not only physically, but mentally, so that they can do their job, right? And they are providing that productivity and that level of engagement that you're looking for. The last thing you want to be doing is creating burnout or unnecessary stress with them. And of course, working from home, that also goes with anybody that has children that are in the school. And if they're going back to a virtual setting, they're having to try and balance that as well. So make sure you encourage, that they take time for themselves and their family as well. As long as you're getting the work done, it doesn't really matter. But just make sure that you are encouraging them to do that. 5, demonstrate a collaborative culture, right? Again, it's making sure that you're not keeping people isolated or living in a vacuum, right? So make them feel that they're part of a team. Make them feel that they actually matter. It's a manager's responsibility or frontline supervisor's responsibility to make sure that these employees understand that even though you may not be in the office together, you're all working together for a common goal, right? Perhaps have a weekly team check-in call or video conference. I actually do that every week with my team. I do it on Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So it's a little bit later in the morning, but not too late in the afternoon for folks. And it's really just an opportunity for all of us to kind of get together, share how our week has been, any tips or tricks or any frustrations that they might be experiencing. To me, it's a very informal get together that we have on Fridays, but I want my team to come together and just kind of share what they've got going on, whether it's from a personal or professional perspective. So it's good to be able to demonstrate that collaborative culture. And it certainly does help keep your team engaged. And the final thing is, you're not able to do all this without having some sort of technology in place, right? So really being able to leverage technology. If you've been more of a paper-based type organization where most of the communications and things you've done have been more paper-based, you may want to look at incorporating some sort of technology. 48% of employees wish their workplace technology performed the same way as their personal technology has, and that was a recent survey that was done by Coleman Parks Research. And so, one of the things that you can utilize is, as I mentioned, like using Skype or Teams or any of the collaborative tools such as Zoom or WebEx. You can actually set up as a free Zoom account if you want to. And I know Zoom has done some things in the COVID disruption they used to limit it on the free accounts to only 40 minutes, but now they've done away with that restriction. So you can have a meeting that's up to an hour in length, as well as the number of attendees that you'd like to have attend. But utilizing tools like that, like Zoom or WebEx or Skype, and as I mentioned, we utilize Teams internally. It's a great way to be able to communicate very quickly back and forth to other team members. You can also share files. One other thing that you can utilize if you're not using some sort of HCM or human capital management solution, typically what those end up doing is it's an all-encompassing platform that has HRS as well as payroll, as well as time and attendance. So you can actually track your employees' time if that's something that's important for you to make sure they're actually putting in the hours that they should be. But these types of tools are really designed to also be able to give feedback. So you can do surveys out to your employees to make sure they're satisfied, or if there's anything you can be doing differently to help make their jobs easier and to keep that level of productivity up. So there's a wealth of tools that are available to you, and I'm certainly happy to talk to you more about that offline if that is something that's of interest and you're looking to try and incorporate some sort of tools or technology to be able to help or manage your employees. So I think with that being said, I've actually used up my 15 minutes here. Apologize for the delays in the presenting this, but hopefully this was very helpful information for everybody today. If you have any questions, you have my contact information within this slide deck. I believe Stephanie's been going ahead and recording this as well, so feel free to share this out, Stephanie. And I'm here local, right by the hospitals, so I'm just inside the perimeter. And I'm happy to have any conversations with any folks if you want some additional information. Really appreciate the opportunity. If I don't talk to anybody, I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Here's to a much better 2021 than what we've been experiencing in 2020. And thank you, Stephanie.